And so I think we can start with the strength builders. And let me paint you a picture. If you went onto the Instagram profile of a strength builder who consumes plant protein, you wouldn't see any quote unquote green packaging. You wouldn't really see any obvious messaging about the environment or about climate change. What you would see is physique. You would see discipline, you'd see workout splits, training programs, supplement stacks, so on and so forth. And woven through all of that in a very seamless and natural way is plant protein as the fuel that got them there. Because the strength builder archetype is fundamentally about performance. Their content is built on proof, and they're essentially saying, look at my body, look at what I built. I built it on plants and I use plant protein. And that's the argument from their side. There's no ideology per se, there's no moralizing, there's just a man with visible muscles telling you exactly what he eats and exactly how he trains. But I'd like to mention another significant thing about them, which is how they handle monetization. What we saw is that many of these strength builders have coaching apps, they sell plant based protein supplements, they offer meal plans. And I'd say this tells us something quite important about market readiness. These men are not just hobbyists, they're building businesses, very serious businesses around plant protein and performance, which means that there is a commercial infrastructure, you could say, forming around this archetype. The flavor creators. We also call them taste creators because, yes, they focus on making plant protein taste delicious, but they also make it cool. They make it cultural, they make it aspirational. And these are the chefs, the recipe creators, and the food content creators who are solving a very specific problem, which is, does this actually taste good and does it look like it tastes good? And a lot of these men are what we like to call crossover creators, the ones whose audiences are not predominantly vegan or plant based at all. People follow them just because their food looks extraordinary. And when someone with millions of followers posts a recipe that happens to be plant based, and the comments are full of self proclaimed omnivores saying, I'm going to make this tonight, it's to us a very clear sign that there is a cultural penetration happening in real time. They are the ones who most frequently mention specific retailers and specific products. We've seen that they take their audiences along on grocery shopping trips, for example. They give product recommendations and they name supermarkets and brands. And these creators are effectively doing a product placement for plant protein ranges, and they're doing it in a way that is very, very organic to witness. And so now we can move on to our final archetype, which is the wellness seekers, who root their advocacy for plant protein in science and in the pursuit of you being your healthiest and most optimized self. Wellness seekers frame plant protein as the rational, evidence based choice. They use very complex, specific scientific language: gut health, nutrient optimization, fiber intake, short chain fatty acids, anti inflammatory diets, the gut microbiome's relationship, and all of this while championing plant protein as the answer. That lands very, very differently from someone just saying eat your vegetables or go vegan because it's good for you. And this is where the wellness seekers become very, very strategically interesting for anyone working in advocacy, I'd say. Because the myths that these anti plant protein messaging relies on, right? Like things like eating soy gives you man boobs, or plant protein is incomplete, or you can't build muscle without meat, are precisely the myths that these wellness seekers are already dismantling in their content with citations, with medical credentials, and with accessible explanations. They're doing extremely important counter narrative work, and they're doing it for an audience that really, really trusts them.